All right, let's tackle a huge question that every single developer or product owner has to face. How are you going to manage your users? Today, we're putting two heavyweights in the ring, Okta and Firebase Authentication. And trust me, this isn't just about a list of features. It's about two completely different philosophies on what identity even means.
You know, when you boil it down, every single app, I don't care if it's a simple to-do list or a massive enterprise suite, it's all built around answering one core question about the person using it. It's the challenge that every developer has to solve right from the get-go.
And here's the question. Who is this user, and what are they actually allowed to do? It sounds so simple, right? But getting this right, well, that's the absolute foundation of security, personalization, and trust for your entire product.
Now, answering that question can take you down two really different paths, and the path you choose is going to fundamentally shape your app's architecture. So today, we're going to explore those two paths, using Okta and Firebase as our guides.
Okay, let's dive right in. Our first section here is called One Problem, Two Worlds. And that's because this isn't really about different tools. It's about solving for two completely different kinds of identity. You've got the identity of an employee inside a huge company versus the identity of a user inside one specific app. And wow, this slide just nails that difference. On one side, you've got Okta, which is built to answer the question for a whole company. Who gets access to Slack, Salesforce, and all our internal stuff? It thinks at an organizational level. Then you have Firebase Auth, and it is laser-focused on your app. Who can sign in and use this one product I'm building right now? To make this super concrete, we're going to use an analogy for the rest of this explainer. I want you to think of it as the central security hub for a sprawling corporate campus versus, say, the friendly doorman at a single apartment building. So first up, Okta, our centralized security hub. This thing is an enterprise-grade platform that sits right in the middle of everything. Its whole job is to be the one source of truth that connects employees, partners, and customers to all the different apps and services a company uses, all while enforcing security policies from that one central spot. And the tools this hub uses? They're built for that massive enterprise scale. We're talking single sign-on, where one login gets you into everything, a universal directory to manage every single user, and this is key. It speaks the languages of enterprise identity. These protocols like SAML and OIDC. Just think of those as a kind of secure handshake that lets big corporate systems trust each other without ever sharing passwords. Okay, now let's flip that on its head and look at our second model, Firebase Auth, the built-in app doorman. So if Okta is the campus security hub, Firebase is that efficient, friendly doorman standing right at the entrance of your brand new app. It's a managed service built to do one thing incredibly well: get users sign-in up and running fast for your specific product.
And this doorman's toolkit? It's all about making a developer's life easy and moving fast. It gives you these ready-to-use toolkits, we call them SDKs, for your web and mobile apps. It handles all the social login stuff with Google and Facebook right out of the box. And it just clicks perfectly with all the other services in the Firebase world, like your database or your cloud functions.
All right, so we've got our two models, the central hub and the app doorman. Now, let's put their toolkits side by side and do a real head-to-head comparison.
Man, this table really just illustrates that divide perfectly. Just look at the primary use case. For Okta, it's workforce single sign-on and business-to-business apps. For Firebase, it's consumer apps and startups. Okta integrates with a whole enterprise fabric. Firebase integrates with its own platform. It just shows they are truly optimized for completely different worlds. Let's dig into security for a second. Okta works on a zero-trust principle. That means it's always assessing risk. So if you try to log in from a new device or a weird country, it might step up your authentication and ask for another proof of identity. Firebase is more app-centric. It gives you solid tools like multi-factor authentication, when you need a code from your phone to log in. But the really detailed authorization, like who can see what data, that's all handled by rules you write inside your app's backend. And this difference in philosophy, it just carries right over into their ecosystems. Okta is designed to be the enterprise hub, the central connector. It has pre-built integrations for thousands of apps, and it can even talk to old-school on-premise directories. Firebase, on the other hand, is a platform stack. It integrates beautifully with other Firebase services, but it's an authentication subsystem, not some enterprise-wide integration layer.
Okay, so we've gone through the philosophies, the architectures, the features. Now we get to the most important part. How do you actually use this information to make the right choice for your project?
This is where it all comes back to you
and your specific needs. You've got these two powerful but totally different platforms. How do you decide which one to build on?
Well, the decision really boils down to your core requirements. You should be reaching for Okta when your needs are all about the enterprise. If you need single sign-on across a bunch of different apps, or if your customers are other businesses who want to use their own corporate logins using that secure SAML handshake we talked about, or if central governance and compliance are just non-negotiable, then Okta is absolutely purpose-built for you.
On the flip side, you should be looking hard at Firebase Auth when your top priorities are speed, simplicity, and just getting a new consumer-facing app out the door. If you're already building on the Firebase and Google Cloud stack, and you just need a fast, reliable, and cost-effective way to handle individual user signups, Firebase Auth is the clear winner, no question. And hey, if you need to boil it all down to the absolute basics, this chart says it all. Is your main driver enterprise integration and B2B federation? That's Okta. Is it all about speed and simplicity for a brand new app? That's Firebase Auth. Simple as that.
So as we start to wrap this up, it's pretty clear this isn't just some technical choice. You're not just picking a tool from a list. You are literally designing your project's identity blueprint. And that means you have to think strategically about who your users are from day one.
Let's just put a fine point on it with a quote from our source material. If your core problem is centralizing identity for many apps, integrating with corporate directories, and meeting enterprise security needs, Okta is usually the better fit.
And for the other side of the coin, if your core problem is getting login for a mobile or web app quickly with minimal backend work, Firebase Auth is usually the better fit. You really can't get much clearer than that.
So the single most important thing to take away from all this is simple. It was never about which one is better. It's about recognizing that they represent two fundamentally different philosophies of identity, the centralized hub versus the dedicated doorman.
And that leaves us with one final big question to help guide your decision. As you kick off your next project, you got to ask yourself this: is user identity just another feature on your to-do list, or is it the absolute foundation of your entire business model? Your answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know.